And what I find interesting about musicians is that they like I have like dialogue in my head all the time. I imagine myself. I don't want to flatter myself or offend anybody who has a legitimate mental illness, but when you hear about like voices in your head, I always think like there's got to be like one drop of chemical difference in the brain between like a writer who's good at dialogue and like somebody who's setting themselves on fire because they can't stop like the voices in their head, because I'm just used to it. It's just like I just always hear talking, and when people are talking to me, I see their words in front of my face, blah blah blah. I talked to Ben Folds and I'm like, what the fuck are musicians? How does that work? And he said like he has the same thing, but it's melodies, which is so weird to me, because to me melodies are a thing you make up. Like you go down to the ditch and you just like, oh, I need a melody. But that's how other people feel about writing, and he feels that way. He's like, I can't stop thinking of this melody. I can't get it out of my head, which I've heard from like Paul McCartney and stuff like that in interviews. You're saying that
in interviews, he said.
Interviews.
He said in interviews, you were so quick on the humble brag.
Thank you,
so
Colin.
quick on the trigger. In interviews with the Maca, with the Pau Maca, as he's called in Brazil.
Colin Hanks is like exhausted, he's been promoting his documentary probably all week, and he has to come here and like defend me from people.
He was very quick on the humble brag. Yell.
I really thank you for doing that.
But no, the thing that you're talking about, that there's a very big difference between crazy and insane. You can deal with a crazy artist because they're constantly focused on whatever it is that their brain needs to focus on, whether it's words or melody, whatever. They're crazy because they hear melodies all the time. Whereas insane is just a fucking insane person.
Well, you're always connecting things, but here's the thing. When I listen to like Eminem lyrics, I'm like, this guy must have been born in a generation where it's like, oh, because of hip-hop culture that came before him and because of maybe something in his brain, like he's thinking phonetically, because he rhymes shit that I'm like, that didn't rhyme until you made it rhyme. Do you think in rhymes? Do you hear rhymes in your head or
I definitely do. I mean, how I usually kind of start the process is, every song I do is a story, so the first thing I do is I just think about what the story is going to be about. So I always have to make sure I have a beginning, a middle, and the end. And I always have to write out out the story.
That's a callback.
Thank you.
You want to tell story? You're saying, so taking us back to the kid with the ice cream cone, you're saying when you look at the kid with the ice cream cone, you're like, I want to rap about that.
Yeah, pretty much. Like if I
sounds
see
like your grandpa
if I see a kid
you.
like say if he drops the ice cream, the first thing I'm thinking about was this kid must have had, like, my story was he had a shitty day. No one wanted to like pick him for kickball. His graham crackers were too soggy.